Event organizers, get ready to level up. You're listening to the Event Academy Live podcast, where we elevate motivated event organizers. This podcast is brought to you by Fusion, all the event ticketing features and support you need for one low price. Check them out at getfusionsolutions.com. Now, it's time for your host, Jake Sperley.
Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Event Academy Live. In this episode, we're going to be talking about simple ways that you can increase the profitability of your event. It's just me today. We don't have any other guests with us, but this is going to be an action-packed podcast episode helping you just increase your profits and revenue through simple things that I've seen our clients do, but also things that I used to do when I was running county fairs back in the day. With no further ado, let's get into this thing. I'm excited about this topic because I think so many times we, as event organizers, don't really know either how to make our event better or how to make our event generate more money. You know, we kind of just get stuck in the rut of doing the same thing or not having the bandwidth or resources to change anything because, you know, you're already overwhelmed with trying to do the event as it is. So what we're going to talk about today is just simple things that you can do. Things that won't take a massive amount of your time, resources, extra money, but that are actually going to have an impact in the bottom line, you know, of your event. So starting off here, ways to make more money for your event. One is going to be sell merchandise. I think this is one of the most underrated things events can do to make more money easily. Now, when I say that, most folks say, well, I don't have the resources to set up an online store and to, you know, print the merchandise, to sell it on site, to ship it, whatever. I'm telling you, there's an easy way. It's called print on demand. Print on demand is a resource that is on the internet. It's free to use. Printful is a great one. I've personally used it. I actually think this shirt that I'm wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, is made from Printful. And basically what it is, you upload your design to Printful, and when somebody orders the product online, Printful makes it, prints it, and ships it to your customer without you having to do anything. All you have to do is tell Printful where to send the money. It's literally that easy. And you can start off simple. Just sell merchandise online pre-sale. That's it. If you have the bandwidth to sell merchandise on site, great. Printful has, you know, bulk ordering options where you can buy 100 shirts and you can sell them on site. But a great, easy first step is just by selling merchandise online. You know, folks like to have custom branded merch, especially from events that they like. The other great thing besides profit is that you now have everybody with your logo walking around town, now giving you free advertising for your events. It's a great way to increase revenue, but also gives you a bit of free advertising as well. Another tip here, VIP options. So it's insane the amount of money people will spend to feel important. How do I know this? Because I see events that we work with implement VIP packages and people buy them. How do you implement a VIP package? Too often we try and get too extravagant with VIP packages. It doesn't need to be that way. You can just make it simple, like at Disneyland, right? They just send, if you buy like the Blast Pass, whatever, it gets you to the front of the line. Sometimes that's enough to make somebody upgrade from general to VIP. So what are some ideas to create a VIP option? Maybe they get to enter your event an hour early. Maybe they get a special hospitality suite, you know, where they can go into a tent or a different area and they can just hang out with other VIP guests. Maybe it's a separate entrance. So the VIP people have their own entrance into the event. Maybe you just give them a t-shirt. You know, there are simple things that you can do to create a VIP experience. There's an event I've been following in Seattle, and their ticket prices are $25. And if you want a VIP, it's $50. The only thing you get with VIP is you get I think like a custom ice cream scoop or something, and you get to go to the front of the line. So you get to skip the lines. That's it, and they're charging double the amount of money for it. Regardless of what your event is, it's an expo, trade show, fair, rodeo, whatever it is, think of things that maybe your attendees spend too much time on, like waiting in line to grab a beer or being able to network, whatever that is. Think of just 1 to 2 things and just make that a VIP option, right? And then charge 25 to 50% more for that VIP package. Done, simple. You're generating more revenue and you're also giving your attendees a better consumer experience, which then leads to them coming back year after year. Another one's going to be high value sponsors. I know some folks, they don't like sponsorships. They don't like asking for money. They don't like any of that. Here's the deal. You can have 100 sponsorships worth $1,000. You'll get $100,000. Or you could have one sponsorship worth $100,000. Reduces a ton of work, increases the value of that sponsorship, not only for you, but for that big sponsor as well. Instead of going out and trying to find every little small business that'll give you $50 here, $100 there, go out and find those big businesses that have the resources to give you 10, 20, 50, $100,000 checks for sponsorships. It's one of the easiest ways you can increase your revenue because all it takes is one big fish to give you 50 grand or 100 grand. So when you're thinking about this, think about, all right, here's my event. Let's say you're an ice cream festival. What company would benefit from exposure at my event? Whether it's because we're in the same industry or because the people attending my event have the same interests as that business, and go have a conversation. You know, maybe it's a big time ice cream company because you're putting on an ice cream festival. Go out and say, hey, put on this ice cream festival. We're expecting 20,000 people. Here's what we're doing. Wondering if there's an opportunity to partner up on this. Leave it at that. Let them come back to you. And then you can go in and ask them and say, hey, what's valuable for you guys? You know, like if you guys are running this event, what would you like to see? You know, do you want your logo on all the cups? Do you want, banners everywhere? Do you want just exclusively your ice cream, right? Just get a list of everything you need. Then you can come back to the drawing board and say, all right, well, for everything that you want, we're going to charge you $50,000, $75,000, right? Don't be afraid to ask for big dollars. And if you approach this as, oh my gosh, you're going to spend so much money with us, they're going to get cold feet. Go in confidently, right? Yeah, $75,000 package, and you're getting this, and this. Go in confident. Know your worth of your events. Because here's the thing. Sponsorships are all about getting a return. So in their mind, in that sponsor's mind, it's like, okay, if I give you $100,000, what am I going to get in return from that? So if you could justify, well, if you give us 100,000, we're going to get you $200,000 in sales, or we're going to get you in front of 100,000 people, and each one of your customers is worth $100. So 100,000 times $100, there you go, right? Just justify the ROI to them. Big time sponsorships aren't as hard as they seem. Another one is ticket tiers. I just advised a client to do this of ours, and they implemented different tickets. I think they did 3 different ticket tiers, and I was just looking at their sales because one of their tiers just went up. The price just increased, went to the next ticket tier up. And we saw a massive spike in sales, and then it dropped back off, which is great. I mean, obviously we want them to keep going and going, but the point of ticket tiers is to create a ton of demand, a spike in demand, because we want everybody to buy a bunch of tickets before the price goes up. And you see that increase in ticket sales every tier when the price changes. It's a great way to get revenue early, ensures that you're selling tickets ahead of time, and also it creates demand and buzz prior to the event. We want to create as much attraction and demand towards our event as we possibly can. Ticket tiers is a great way to do it. If you have if you're an event that has vendors and they sell food, charge them a commission. I used to be a food vendor, and I know firsthand that when the event succeeds in giving me more customers, providing me more food sales, then the event makes more money, but also I make more money because I'm selling more food. I was working with an event in Oregon here, a garlic event, and they charged a flat. It's actually an event that I used to attend when I was a food vendor back in the day, and I'd pay $450 for a booth space. And I think my best year there, we made like $10,000 or $12,000. So think about that. I paid them, let's say, $500 to be there, and I made 12 grand. That doesn't include, food costs, labor costs, stuff like that, but that's an insanely great ROI. It was one of my favorite shows because I made so much money. And so think about that with your event. Are you being fairly compensated at the event based off what you're giving your food vendors, your concessionaires? You want to be between 10 and 20%. So if your food vendors are making 20 grand and you're only charging $1,000, you're leaving money on the table. You're making it unfair for you. Obviously, you don't want to charge them so much that they can't make money, but you want to level that playing field a little bit. Highly targeted marketing. When I did all the marketing for the Columbia Candy Fair and Rodeo, we did a hodgepodge of marketing. We spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars, just radio, this, flyers, all this stuff. We weren't really highly targeted on one channel. What I did, I stepped in, cut back all the fluff, the stuff that I didn't think was working, and I invest in highly targeted marketing. So maybe you're still doing radio, TV, things that you think might not be working. Try highly targeted ads. What are those? Facebook, Instagram are one of the best platforms for that. So with that, it's simple, right? Let's say you're a rodeo, and just make an ad and target people that are interested in Western and rodeo and bull riding. Bam, there you go. Because by highly targeting your marketing, you're going to sell more tickets, which is then going to lead to more profits, more revenues, happier people, more attendees. The next thing, expenses. We usually in our budgets, we have a long list of expenses, whether it's rentals, venue fees, pipe and drape, whatever it is, cups, everything. There's an expense to most things, right? Think about this. How can we turn those expenses into profit centers? If you spend $10,000 on cups for whatever it is, can you go find a sponsor for those 10,000 or for all those cups you're spending $10,000 on? So instead of spending 10 grand on cups, find a sponsor for it. That sponsorship is going to be, you give us cups for free. In return, your logo is going to be on every single cup. It's amazing at how many things you think are expenses can turn into profit centers. Whether it's cups, whether it's trash cans, whether it's pipe and drape. I mean, it literally doesn't matter. Anything you spend money on, you can go find a sponsor for. Whether it's wristbands, credentials, right? Everything can be a sponsorship. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to find the sponsors. I get it. But think about, if your expenses are 50 grand, let's say you just found sponsorship for half of that. That's like a free $25,000 you just got. That's it. Sponsors like it too, because most of the time it costs them less money than, retail for them to provide it to you, right? So they're not actually giving you 25 grand, right? It probably only costs them, let's say 10 grand. So it's a win-win for all parties, no lose situation in a very, very easy way. Easy profit center that I like to call. Another one here, raise your ticket prices. Earth-shattering, groundbreaking, I know. But some events, you're too cheap. Your prices are too cheap. Inflation's going up, prices are going up, costs are going up. Your ticket prices have to go up as well. Do a survey of your local area. Maybe you're a local event, maybe you're a local fair or rodeo. Do an analysis of all of the events around your area within 50, 100 miles that are very, very similar to yours, and get the average. Maybe the average is $15 a person and you're only charging 10. You're losing out on $5 for every ticket sold. Let's say you have 10,000 attendees. 10,000 times $5. That's $50,000 that you're leaving on the table. Sometimes these things are as simple as just looking around and saying, we need to charge more for what we're providing. We provide an excellent entertainment and we need to be compensated for that, right? And people are willing to pay for great experiences. Do an analysis, figure out where you're at. Don't be afraid to raise your ticket prices. A promise, yes, you're going to lose a couple people because they don't want to pay the extra couple dollars. That just is what it is. Supply and demand. You can't be afraid of losing 10 customers to make an extra $10,000, right? The last one I'm going to leave you here with, I could probably go on for days about little incremental things you can do to make more money. If you run any sort of alcohol sale, do tokens, alcohol tokens. There's a bajillion reasons why, and I'm going to talk about every single one of them right now. People don't associate monetary spending with tokens, with beer tokens, alcohol tokens, whatever you want to call them. You can use wood chips. You can use just little like raffle tickets. It literally doesn't matter what you use. Do that. So to buy a beer, instead of them handing you $10, they hand you one token. It's the same mantra that Disneyland implemented when they went with their like fun passes or whatever. It's an RFID wristband where to buy things, you just tap your wristband. They see an incremental increase in sales because we don't associate spending with things that aren't cash or our credit cards. Even credit cards, sometimes you don't associate with money spending. Implement a token system. One, because it's going to make you more sales because psychologically it makes sense. And another great reason is because people, let's say at the beginning of the event, I go buy 5 beer tokens, right? I might only use 4. The 5th one I might drop, might get lost. I might take it home. Highly unlikely I'm going to remember that beer token next year for the next year's event. Let's say your beer tokens are $5. You, the event, just got a free $5. You didn't have to give them a beer for it. They didn't even use it, and they're probably going to go throw it away. You just got free money. That's a massive thing, and we see it with our clients that use Fusion Cashless. People normally don't spend all the money or all the tokens that they purchase at the beginning of the event. It just is what it is, right? A bunch of reasons to go the token route. Do the research on your own. Those are kind of the high level things that I always like to talk about with it. That is your episode of ways to make your event more money, higher profits. We talked about selling merchandise, VIP options, high value sponsors, ticket tiers, charging food vendors, your concessionaires a commission, highly targeted marketing, turning expenses into profit centers, raising your ticket prices, and also going to a beer or alcohol token system. I hope you found insane value out of this. It's something that I really enjoy talking about because they're just small things that you guys can do to make just a little bit more money, right? We're just trying to be 1% better every day, 1% better. Small little changes like this are going to help you create incremental improvements over the long run. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week for another episode of Event Academy Live.
Thank you for listening to the Event Academy Live podcast.
This show is powered by Fusion.
Event solutions for the modern event organizer. Don't forget to like, rate, and review. We hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, keep leveling up, fellow event organizers.